Okay.
working? Okay, there we go.
So
Yeah.
get it started, Simon. So the first question here is like, how do you want the calls to go? This is the question that every business owner, and you might have also come across when someone on the other end, the listener is very important to you. So, like, do you believe when I say this that AI can resolve this question of yours? Now, in today's podcast, I have one of my friends who has resolved this question with his business, AI Answers, which the company which actually answers all the solutions with the help of an AI. So let me introduce him with one of my closest friends, Samin, over here, who has worked with AI closely and believe that AI is the solution for every communication industry and has developed and dedicated more in the podcast industry. So, Samin, what do you believe? Like AI help podcast industry better today?
Well, yeah. I mean, it is basically changing how we do work and a lot of the industry in itself. Like, even just through the clients and people I've been working with, what they've done is they have they used to employ a lot of call centers and like people to kind of like call and text to do their outreach for them. Now, like with AI, right? Because it sounds like an actual person, you don't have to train them or anything. It just once. All you got to do is give them a list of people to call. They'll go call them, outreach them, book those appointments to your calendars. You set the sales appointment, you do that, you close it, you're done.
That's great. It's like it is seeing me very easy from this point of view. Now, if I ask a very personal question with you, Sami, like how is your experience in the industry of podcast with the help of AI, like industry of podcast and communication? Like what I can see from here is you are dealing with a lot of communication right now and in your business every day. So what do you think? How is your experience when I talk about AI?
So I guess there's a lot of things to answer with that question.
Yeah.
There is the first. Let's talk about the podcast. You said like how is that affected with AI? I mean, the podcasts itself are just so much better and easier to use because of it. Because there's a lot more software that you could use to make your podcast kind of better. Personally, I use this platform called Riverside. And Riverside, it's
Okay.
pretty cool. It's like it records both of your conversations and also gives you like the split. So you get your own view in a nice high quality fashion. And you can also add and edit it. It does the summaries for you and whatnot. It makes it a lot easier. But in terms of communication, I didn't catch that part. What did you say about that?
And what I mean is like in everyday communication, when I talk about call centers, when I talk about answering in behalf of a actual human, how do you think AI is a experience for you? Like, it's a good experience,
Yeah, of course. It's just
something
so much
it's
better. You don't have,
manageable.
yeah, it's very
Okay, okay.
it's a very tough problem. It's a new problem we're trying to solve. It's interesting that like now we're trying to automate away a lot of like very menial jobs so people don't have to do them and they can focus on stuff that are more important, right? If you have AI agents is what we call them doing stuff on your behalf, because now we've also enabled them to do other things like sending an email, sending a text message just to follow up, make calendar appointments, whatnot. It just makes everything more streamlined and there's no more like you have to hire people, you can do this 24/7. All of this is already handled for you.
Okay, now that is sounding something very like a manual time saving for a company. And it will also analyze what I've analyzed from my side is that it has like saved a lot of time, lot of money for the company, for the growing company who are into communication sector, more of call centers. So did I get you right over there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, okay. So like Samin, one more like moving forward, I have another very basic question for you. It's like how can AI be leveraged to analyze social media conversation and trending topics to identify the podcast potential opportunities today?
When you say
What I mean over here,
podcast
mhm,
potential, what do you mean by that?
the topics like the trending topics. It sometimes it gets very difficult for the company to find the trendy topics like that can create actual awareness to the listeners. So do you believe AI helps sort that question for
Of
the
course, yeah.
company?
So, how we do this is I actually do this myself, right? Because I have my YouTube
Oh,
channel, I
okay.
need to be on top of what's trending potentially and make videos on that so it could spark a lot of interest and we're up to date on what we're trying to do. So, to do all this research, that can be automated with AI as well. There's a lot of little products that a lot of people don't know about, and they're mostly free. I would recommend check out stuff like Perplexity or Metaphor Systems. And what we could do with them, right? I have this agent set up that essentially it will look through the articles of the day that are trending, right? It will make a
Okay.
synopsis and then it will write a report with my style of how I dictated it based on my previous whatever I posted, right? This makes it really really easy so that I can do automated research and I can synthesize it pretty quickly to share it out. So the steps are
Okay.
basically one, let's say I find something interesting, I put it into this folder, and my agent, what they'll do is take that, learn from it, and try to synthesize it and craft a compelling message in my style so I can use that to post.
Okay. So, like, what I can hear from you right now is that basically breaks down your entire process and helps your team member and you with the entire reporting and thing. So, it comes to my next question, Samin. Can AI help advertising your podcast? Like how it boosts your podcast in the stream of the advertising when it comes to increasing the ad effectiveness and the social media awareness, how AI can help you in this side. Like, how do you believe in your business?
Well, I think social media is like really important right now for any business, right? So,
True.
and everyone's doing so much that you kind of need an edge, and it's unwise to do get this edge if you just pay people to do it. So, you need to build
Mhm.
systems around these processes so it can be done with the current technology that we have. I guess it's not widely available and everyone doesn't know about it, but there are things you can do so that you can always have the edge of the newest whatever is happening in the specific
Mhm.
industry if you build out the certain platform, right? So for me, I
Okay.
guess because I make a lot of content on AI and business, I try to filter my search results and whatever I have towards what's trending in that space. Right? There's always something new coming out on, let's say, X, and those are need to be kind of like synthesized and collected. And after that is collected, we can always we have a centralized place where we can read this and review it. So ourselves, we can review it a lot faster and learn from it.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So, Samin, you just said there are many AI technology which is still unaware about from the people. So, like, can you please elaborate on that section? Like, what technologies you are referring to me here right now that is not known by the people in the way of advertising on social media? If you don't mind.
So sorry,
It might be
I
some,
didn't understand the question. It was cutting out.
yeah, sure. You just said that there are some technologies in the terms of AI that is not yet revealed to the people in social media for enhancing their social media awareness. So, if you don't mind sharing your secret sauce of what this AI technologies you are talking about right now.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess you do need a little bit of programming experience. Two things I really use a lot and I really, really like is that thing I said, perplexity and metaphor. I would say
Okay,
because
it's
those basically scrape the internet and try to learn from it. You can do it. If you don't know how to code, you could use those. But if you do know how to code or you understand it a bit, you can take advantage of like these things called AI agents. And there's some open source projects out there that one I really like to use is Autogen and Brew AI by Microsoft. Autogen is by Brew AI, Microsoft. But these are frameworks where any programmer
hmm,
can take their steps and make AI kind of. You can give it to them, and then AI will handle most of it. But you have to break it down into the smallest components, and then turn it into systems that you can replicate. After that, it's just automated.
Okay, okay. No, it's very like a skeptic, to be very honest with you, because I have been using AI for a longer time right now. It's been like 1 year only. I'm using most of the process via AI. But when I talk about podcast, I actually do a lot of podcasts in terms of technologies right now. So when I talk to podcast, you sounded to me a very warm person because you make things very easy when I talk about AI in the podcast and in communication. So I was just analyzing one system and I got into this question that what I believe that AI can also analyze the listener feedback engagement. So, do you have any perspective in this?
Yeah, like I'm assuming you're talking about sentiment analysis, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sentiment analysis. Yeah.
that's funny because like we were actually just working on that on our caller because whenever we're talking to people, we have to transcribe what they say and kind of trying to
Mhm.
understand how we should respond based on their sentiment, right? And the sentiment
Mhm.
analysis is pretty simple because all you need to do is you need to have a transcriber in place, right? And a
Okay,
recorder.
okay,
And from that transcription, you can use any large language model API to kind of do a sentiment analysis. And then from that, you have unlimited use cases that you could use that for.
okay, okay, sentiment analysis. Okay, that sounds pretty good. And you always go through a lot of meetings in a day, lot of chaos, lot of communications. So, like, how do you track your communications with the help of AI right now?
Tracking my communications with the help of AI, it's like a little tricky because it's more of a relationship building thing, and that is something AI can't really replace. But what it can do is like help you set your schedules, which I do use it for. There's a lot of applications out there, like maybe there's a thing called Motion, and what it does is, let's say you put your calendar appointments, and then it auto adjusts your calendar for you, so you know what to be doing when pretty easily. That is was one really big application that I thought was good and kind of boosted my productivity by a lot because all I have to do is just look at my calendar. I know exactly what I should be doing.
Okay, so what I understand from your family is like you are a lot into communication and relationship building. So like it will be very easy for my audience to give it a catch if I know a bit more about your business. Like what are the branches of your business? The tree, if I talk. How does AI help in your business every day? You can be
I mean,
brief. I don't want everything to be known. You
yeah,
can be very
AI
brief
is
about
helping my business, right? Because we are an AI business.
it.
Like literally anything we need to do in terms of research or any menial tasks, you don't have to be you don't have to be fancy. All you can need is honestly ChatGPT, and after you use that, it kind of boosts your productivity by it doubles it. Um, that's one. If you're starting at the basics, I would say if someone's not using that, they're losing out on a lot of time. But we're so involved in the system day to day that we use so many tools, but it depends on your specific circumstance. Not no one's gonna take whatever I use and find a lot of use on them because they're not me. So if you can learn about what you kind of need to do and systematize those, then there is almost always a tool that you can find that'll help you.
Okay, okay. So, like, if I talk about a public and large, specifically in USA, right? What AI module will you believe can be like helpful in every home today? What AI module?
I don't understand your question.
Like,
So, what AI model?
to you said that there must be some people who might not believe that this section, yeah, this portion of the AI might be helpful for them, but it can be helpful for you. So, what do you believe? What AI can be helpful for most of the people in USA today?
Yeah, the
What I
100%.
believe.
That's most people just should use something like any. They should just use large language models because it's easy to use and it does everything for you. And it's super basic to use. It's just a chat box, right? You can't get more simple than that.
Okay, okay. So if I move my perspective bit towards the business era today, so like what are the possibilities of using AI powered microtransactions and dynamic pricing modules to create new revenue streams for the podcast creators?
That's an
You
interesting
want me to
question.
repeat?
So dynamic pricing. I don't know how I feel about dynamic pricing
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of like makes it an uneven playing field for everyone. So I guess it
Mm-hmm.
can be done, but I'm not a very big proponent of dynamic pricing in that way. It's more so it should be
Okay.
fair and a very stable price that anyone can use. But in terms of the podcast industry, I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to for microtransactions there. So I would
Mm-hmm.
have to defer to you on that.
No, no problem. So let me give you a breakdown of what I'm referring here right now. It's likely if you are investing a lot more into AI tools, how as the podcast creator, you are gaining a lot of profit in your business.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't understand. I was cutting out a bit.
No worries, let me repeat it once again. If you're investing a lot more into AI building in your podcast industry, so how will you as the podcast creator going to gain a profit from your business? This
Well, the
was my
biggest
question.
yeah, why I do podcasts is just as a side, right? It's not anything crazy, but what I use it for is building awareness to the product I'm building and how AI is kind of shaping my company
Hmm.
and how it can help other companies. Right. The podcast itself isn't something I'm very like. That's my only thing because I'm making other things like YouTube videos, which are not podcasts. Right. The main point of this is
Okay.
just to raise awareness onto what we're building.
Okay. Got it. Got your point. So, like, what advancements in natural language processing are needed today again to enable deeper understanding in the podcast audio content? Because most of the people consume audio content a lot more than the video content. So, what do you think NLP processing today needs development in to make it a much convenient and understandable for the people, right?
Um, I just don't understand. So NLP processing for audio content,
Natural language, yeah.
I don't see where like it has anything to do with each other because
Mhm.
like this is I mean yes you can use audio you can use NLP for this stuff but like what are you trying to
Mhm.
achieve is what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, what I'm trying to achieve over here is like how can AI be optimized today to deliver highest quality of the audio content so that the people don't have to shift their perspective and shift their time to the video content because most of the people plug in their earphones, walk in the metro and hear the podcast. This is what I do every day. So if the quality with the help of AI gets better, it gets very convenient for me. So what do you think about this? Is there
Oh,
any
okay.
role of AI here?
There is small bits if you want to save time or if you want to kind of condense your understanding. So what you can do is using NLP, you can let's say there's like a massive 3 hour podcast you don't have time to listen to, but you should. You can always use AI to summarize that and then kind of like read it out to you as audio content so you kind of digest the main parts of that content. Or this is something other that's smart is if you vectorize all that information, you can technically t- uh, make the AI talk to you and ask it questions about what you kind of want to the exact pieces of information that you want from that long form piece of content so you can
Mhm.
absorb the most important pieces for you and save your time that way.
So like what you are referring here to me is like if I want the 3 hours of podcast for me to listen to just one snippet that says, suppose I'm watching the podcast of give me more information about Salmon's business. So if I want to hear about the section of how AI can help communication today, so that entire 3 hours podcast, they will pick that section in which you spoke on that part, and it will give me the that section only to hear. Is this what you meant to say?
Yeah, that's part of it. Everything depends on intent, right? AI can help a lot of things. It's the same as like just any software. Any software can help a lot, but you have to know
Mhm.
why you're doing something and what the customer benefit is. If you don't have those two down, there's no point in doing something.
Okay, got a point, got a point. So when I talk about this, I believe you consume a lot much amount of data in making this AI work today. Yeah, the business of AI is not very small when I understand the realms and the roots. So I believe there is a lot more data you are involving today. So how are the security and privacy concerns associated with collecting listeners' data through AI in the podcast industry is making things easier? Like how AI today is making collecting the data and in the way of security and privacy makes things easier for you as a business owner because lots of data can be leaked out.
Can be leaked out. Hmm.
Yeah.
Data privacy is always an interesting concern. What I believe is like whenever we are convenience comes at the expense of privacy. This is a nice way to boil it down. Um, yeah, whatever is convenience, you have to give up some of your privacy for that. But you can always benefit from AI and be secure by running open source models locally. So if you run it locally, there's no leakage there because it's not accessing the internet or it's not training anything. So if whenever we are trying to do something that's private, I think we had an example of I released a video where these lawyers, they wanted to kind of sort their emails and get the important ones with AI because it was costing them a lot of time. So we built them the system that runs locally. It's like like a local LLM that is running, that is helping them sort their emails and classify them to kind of do that transaction and save all that time.
Okay.
We use the local LLM here because it is private data, right? We don't want client data being leaked out anywhere. So right now we have it's not connected to the internet and it runs by itself. That's one of the biggest proponents we've done for data privacy.
Okay, okay. So, like, one funny question was just popped into my mind, Simon. Do you think there is a future where you will be sitting and AI will be asking questions to you?
But there is already. That it's not a future, that's right now.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
Like
that's
my
great.
caller we use, it literally calls people up and then asks them questions to qualify them. So
Okay.
it exists.
So, over here, like, you see what I'm doing right now is analyzing your answer and then asking my questions, what me and the listeners can have. So, do you think AI will be this much capable of doing it?
I mean, already capable of doing these AI podcasts. They exist already. If you look on YouTube, you'll find AI versions of like I don't know Joe Biden and Trump talking about stuff that exists. But I don't think it's insightful. What's insightful is more so the people's authentic experiences of how they kind of use something to advance themselves. So that AI talking to each other, there's a lot of jargon and fluff that you don't really need. So AI isn't the savior of everything. It's just a tool. It's just a tool that we use to get what we want to do in a more efficient manner.
Okay, okay. So, like, what I can understand from this, like, AI is there in the picture, but human intervention will always be there
Yes,
to give
100%.
the perfectness.
No, it's
Okay,
not to be perfect, but it's also to be imperfect. Things
okay,
happen
okay.
because, yeah, imperfections are also important.
That's true. It's like the beauty lies in perfection, more than
Exactly.
imperfection. Okay, okay. So, Simon, let's have a break of 2 minutes and then we can have it over to our phase two. So on the phase two, I'll just ask one question with you and we are good to go. I hope that's fine.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, let me just pause the recording over here. Said once again, I will be very quick. I understand you're running very busy these days. I just got an update from my team that you're running very busy. So let's get it started and end on the very intriguing question that I have for today's generation. It's like, do you recommend farming as a young entrepreneur yourself to have or generate AI in the podcast and communication business? Because this is what is the growing business today. People want to hear everyone's perspective. So, what do you believe? Should they include AI in this business?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty simple that people should very much look into this. This is a new amount of technology that has been released, and it's going to be kind of like Google. Like, for example, when the internet was just out, everyone was like, they didn't use it, right? But soon after, it became widespread and was used every day by everyone. Now it's like a prerequisite. What I think is going to happen is this is going to happen with AI and large language models, such that if you're not using it, you're very behind and you won't be able to kind of do work or make advancements as fast as other people that are using it. So 100% you should be using it, and it's somewhere a lot of your attention should go to.
Okay, got your point. So it was really great having you Samin today over this meeting. And thank you so much again for joining to me over this call. So last bye question to you, Samin. So it's like what advancements you are working currently on to support this communication industry in the growing.
I mean, we're making advancements every day. Like today, we had made this advancement in our system where whenever we're calling out to people, during the call, we can be doing executing tasks like running Zapier Make automations, which for example, I call my AI secretary, and then I can ask it to send an email to, I don't know, like my business partner about something, and it can understand and do all of that. This is a new advancement we just made, and it's super useful.
Okay, so any further plans of making this industry more advanced? Because what I can see, you have a very great future, great past working with selected of great companies as a developer yourself. So, like, what gave
Yeah.
you an edge starting your own company? Yeah, like what motivated you?
What motivated me is just the sheer technology, right? I was always interested in these new technologies and finding these new technologies and utilizing them for their best benefit. So this is somewhere I had. This was not like crypto where I don't have any input or anything, but this is the technology that I have been working on for a long time, and that does deeply interest me. So I went all in on it.
Okay. So, like, what I've seen from your business is going pretty great today. So, Samit, any plans for India? Like, how can
Any
you support India? Yeah, any plans for coming to India and talking more about AI and like lending your AI support to Indian community or to Indian podcast today? Like, are you associated with any Indian podcast brand these days?
Yeah, I might visit soon. If there is some conferences or anything, yeah, I'm very down to come help people out if they have any questions, or if they need to do any development, or if they have any really cool ideas. But I'm also releasing a bunch of that in my YouTube channel, so everyone can just democratize and have that technology.
Okay. So that's great, Simon. I would like to end this podcast here, and understanding that we both have schedules and more tasks to complete today because some tasks cannot be completed with the help of AI. We have to do it manually. So let's take it end over here, and we will
Sure.
surely talk on AI and hear more perspectives on what you have on AI. I surely believe that we can like talk further on this maybe in the coming month or when you are in India. What do you say?
Honestly, I have no plans yet, but we can talk about it.
For sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Simon. It was lovely talking to you on AI today. Thank you so
All
much.
right, bye.